Good evening, everybody. All right, hope everybody's having a nice spring evening. We got a typical Pittsburgh night, cold and rainy. All right, we'll get started. I'm just seeing if everybody's gotten in. People still trickling in. All right, as we can see, after the evening star type signal and the big sell-off on Friday, that was a sell signal, obviously, with a close below the T line. The only way to stay in this market was they needed to open up positive and trade positive all day, pretty much indicating that the T line was going to act as support. But as we saw, they were selling this market pretty much all day long. So fortunately, as we have kind of been noting over the last week or so, that this was a good market conditions to be long and short. I had somebody talking to me today and said that they wish they had been a little bit more forceful about going short, and that's why when you read the comments, I try to be as brief as possible and right to the point. That when you start seeing that you probably want to have both longs and shorts in the portfolio, that means you probably need to be kind of offset one direction or the other. I don't like to tell people this is exactly what you need to do because it doesn't help the learning process. It reminds me of the fellow that was standing there looking out his window and it was raining hard and the radio announced, please evacuate the area. There's some flooding going on. So his relatives started saying, all right, we need to get out of here. And he goes, no, I don't need to go. God's going to take care of me. And they said, all right. And they left. A few hours later, the water started creeping up toward the front lawn. And a boat came by and said, hey, come on, jump in. And he goes, no, I don't need to. God's going to take care of me. And then the water got up to the roof line. He had to climb up on the roof, and they sent a helicopter over to pick him up. And he said, no, I don't have to worry. God's going to take care of me. And then the water came up so high that he finally drowned. So he's up there and he went through the pearly gates and ran into God. And he said, God, I thought you were going to help me out of this situation. And God said, I did. I sent you a message on the radio. Then I sent a boat for you. Then I sent a helicopter for you. So, anyways, you got to read the messages. So that's a very old one. All right. Well, I'm pretty old myself. So um, let's see. Yeah, that Apple update thing came up. All right, we'll get rid of that. All right. So, anyways, this is a good reason why when you start seeing things starting to get toppy, one of the signals, this is why I always tell people, go back through the book and kind of refresh your memory or eyesight on different signals and patterns. And one of the signals and patterns that you're going to run into is what they call the advanced block pattern, which is essentially when you start seeing a bigger candle, then a smaller candle, then a smaller candle, it means the bulls are running out of steam. That's called an advanced block. Start looking for a sell signal. And that pretty much is what was happening up here. Let me make this a little bit smaller. But we were topping out right about the same level as topping out before, running out of steam. So, anyways, This is why when I start closing out long positions, when the market's kind of running out of steam, I'll put on short positions because the nice thing about our scanning techniques is that uh, out of in any market condition, there's going to be some good long positions and there's going to be some good short positions. So if I think things are starting to get a little bit doubtful, I'll start adding some short positions. Even though the market may not have turned over yet, there's still going to be some short positions that work in this type of market. Candle trader, yeah, that's all part of the risk reward. So anyways, then the other side of this was that the NASDAQ gave us a sell signal a couple of days earlier, or a day or two earlier, when it was failing at this little trend channel, failing at the 20, and then when it sold off big on Friday, that pretty much told us that this dumpling top was starting to take effect. So today, I thought I had made $30, but I guess I made a few $100. Even though the market was down big, I had enough short positions on to offset them. Let's see, what else do we want to look at? Let's take the interest rates are staying low. I mean, they've kind of bottomed out. This is bond prices moving back up, which means a lot of the REITs are picking up strength. This is ANG or AGNC. Hit bottom, starting to come back up. Nally is another one that is a good REIT, paying like 14.5% dividend yield. How come those? So these are in some long-term accounts. There was another one that was showing up. I don't know how much dividend CYS, but it's a REIT, and it's got a good-looking chart to it. So let's see, crude oil just hovering. Wouldn't be trading long or short because you're in this kind of pennant formation. It means it doesn't have any direction right now. Let's see, natural gas, same scenario, kind of in the slow drifting downtrend, bobbing up and down. Probably wouldn't be trading this one either. Gold looks like it's trying to find a bottom, but it still hasn't done anything that would create any great excitement. Down below the 50, trading right on the 200 with a doji. Probably going to get a good indication of how they're going to move it based on how they open it tomorrow. And silver has gone flat. Now, we started buying some of the silver stocks today because they had good chart patterns. SSRI was trading positive today until I think the market knocked it back down. And SBGI, that's not the one. But I'll find it. There was another silver stock. I'll have to track it down. And let's see, the dollar. Dollar is still in this meandering uptrend. It did pull back. It did close right at the T-line. So you have to see how this one opens. Same scenario with the euro on the way down. It came right back up and tested the T-line, but hasn't gotten through it yet. So that still needs confirmation one way or the other. And the Japanese yen, this one has got more life to it in the fact that it did a doji right here on the T-line. If it opens positive, you want to be buying the yen. Yeah, SSRI was the one that we did recommend, but there was another one that I just came across, and I don't see it right now. No, that wasn't it. All right, well, I'll come across it. Let's see. Oh, see what soybeans is doing today. Soybeans, nothing to get excited about. Been trading cotton recently, but it pulled back today. I kind of figured that Friday's up day was just a bounce. This one can still be shorted if it opens weaker tomorrow, because notice where it's starting to trade, coming back down toward the bottom of the trend channel, which means they will come back and test the 50. Coffee is the one I made some big money with. Done a nice little double bottom. Notice the left-right combo with a gap up. Was buying this on Friday, holding this one today. And let's see, cotton, coffee, soybeans. I don't think sugar is doing anything to write home about. Cocoa is kind of flat. Let's see, wheat. Wheat also kind of stuck in between the moving averages here. Has the possibility of doing a J-hook, but nothing yet until it gets above the T-line. Let's see, the 10-year notes, they're coming up a little bit. And I think the 30-year bonds still in this slow channel. So as you can see, there's really no big price move right now. Let's see, was it? Nah, this one wasn't it. I'll find it. Okay, let's see. So we didn't have a whole lot that we could be bullish about today, obviously. Some of them were still holding their heads up. GGAL was one of them that has not been able to close back below the T-line. Still moving up nicely. Things like EXH, we've been long on this one in the options trading room. Today was the first day it broke down because it was holding up pretty well. If they open this lower tomorrow, we'll close out the position. To stay long, it has to open positive and trade positive. And CONN, another one that has been acting well, except it closed right on the T-line today. So, or close enough to it to say that if it opens lower, you close it out. It needs to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Okay, the few other ones that look good for the longs right now. AGIO can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. That's going to put you right back into the middle of this trend channel, which means the top of your trend channel is your next target, which should take you up in about the 52, 53 area. VISN also has held up pretty well. Notice it's gapped up. It's hovered right here at the 50. Stochastic's still heading up. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. It tells you the 50 is not acting as resistance anymore. And right now, the sideways move you can see is very indecisive. So that tells you the buyers or the bulls are still in charge of this one. Q-Core has opened up strong, has backed off. You just wait for this to show signs that the profit taking is over, because they're going to take this back up to the top of the trajectory, which takes you up in about the 88 level, maybe even the 90 level, and then probably go positive from there, 45 degree from there. TXLN, Q-Core is a buyout. All right, thank you. Oh, was bought out. All right. What happened here? Why isn't PXL? Oh, it's PXLW. This one you might want to take an eye or take a look at. It's formed more of an evening star over on Metastock. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. PBR showing this one because this is why you want to know what happens what your signals and patterns do. As soon as they hit the 200, where did it go? Right back to the T line. And then notice what they did today. They did a kicker type signal back up through this resistance level, telling you this uptrend is still in progress. And along the same lines as knowing what your signals and patterns are telling you is BGS was a gap up doji through the resistance level. If it opened positive today, it had a good probability of heading higher, which is exactly what it did. So anytime you see that potential flutter kicker setup, get ready to buy immediately on a positive open. TDS. So I was going to show basically the same scenario as what we saw in PBR, where it hit the resistance, came right back to the T line. You just get ready for that J-hook setup. It's exactly what you want to look for in TDS. If this opens positive, you want to start looking for the J-hook pattern that will come right up through the 200. All right, let's see. The other side of the coin, again, we've had some short positions on that we, some points we closed it out and then re-shorted it, basically because of one simple factor. When they can't get up above the T line, you're still in a short situation. Now, STAA, we've been long, but it should have been closed out on Friday because it told us exactly what was happening after some of this indecisive trading up here and closed below the T line. Wanted to close this one out. Now, this one showed more of a doji over on TCNet, which means if this opens lower tomorrow, you want to be shorting it because they're going to take it right back down here to the 50-day moving average based on the doji sandwich. Now, on this chart, it's not showing that doji sandwich pattern, but on the other charts it is. GNC, which had broken out on a nice kicker type signal, trend kicker, but then it's failed right here, and then he gapped it down today, which means if they open this lower, we're still in the downtrending channel. But any long position should have been closed out today, and then you can possibly be going short again on this one with the inclination that it might come all the way down here in about the $32 area, which was same type of situation with away, where it never got back up above the T line. So this is the type where if you do cover it, because you anticipate they're going to take it up, as soon as you see they aren't, you get right back into the short position, because now you've got the pattern. You've got the J-hook pattern that tells us if this is wave one, wave three is going to take us all the way down here into the $22 range. Yes, STA was a doji, and CISQ was another one that we recommended going short today because of the same scenario, that it failed when it got up here with a left-right combo and it closed back below the T line, selling off. That if it opened lower, you wanted to be shorting this one, because if they opened it lower, they were failing this level right here. That told us our next target was going to be at least down here to the 200-day moving average. I'm unable to log onto, okay. Let's see. And PHRM, well, what the heck is going on here? That's because that's a D. CHRM, which looked like a good long a few days ago, is now reversed. This makes it very simple. If they open this lower tomorrow with a doji sandwich and have that same magnitude of a day, that means you're going to be breaking this level. This is going to be a blue ice failure that could take you all the way back down here, going from 7 to 440. That's a good hefty percentage move. And just put a star next to that one. You're probably going to see that one recommended as a short for tomorrow. And Juniper, this one you can get ready to short because there's your bearish engulfing signal. We're at the same resistance level, failed at the 50, a double blue ice failure. Tells you they could take this all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. GALT, there's that doji sandwich setup. If they open this lower tomorrow, the panic selling can usually come in at these levels. That could take you right down to the 200 before the end of the day. And ALJ, one of the refiners. Well. S.ALJ. Gap down from a left-right combo, downtrending resistance. They should probably take this down to the 200. The reason I say that is anytime you see a signal and they gap it down, that means they're anxious to get out of that position with great enthusiasm. NXPI, which was a very good long position until the last couple of days, get ready to short this one or buy puts if this opens lower, because that would be telling us two things. One, a doji sandwich could take you all the way down here, and two, it wouldn't be holding the 50. That means everybody would be bailing out. W-Wave, same scenario. Notice the failure at the T-line. If this opens lower tomorrow, it tells you that 50 is not acting as support. They could break this down to where if it came down to fill the gap, that would be getting down here pretty close to the 200. They could be taking it down. Now, these shorts are going to be on the basis that we don't wake up tomorrow and the pre-market futures are up 150 points on the Dow. If we wake up and the pre-market futures are showing the Dow up 20, I would still be ready to short some of these, because that's pretty much telling us that was just that's just about where the market should open on bid-ask spreads. Another one, SALE. If this opens lower tomorrow, another J-hook pattern in progress. It's already moved down 8 points. That could take you down into the 28 points. I can figure this out. The $24 area. And ISMO, slow curve. Get ready to short this one. If they start pulling the plug on this one after the slow curve, they could take it all the way down to the 200-day moving average. And one more, FIO. Another doji sandwich setup. After a left-right combo, a failure at the 50, closed back below the T-line. They're going to still sell this. If they open this lower, they're still selling it off pretty hard. All right, I think that's about all I got today. Again, they're probably going to take this, I would imagine now. I thought today would be a doji day, and then they would trade it in the direction of how they open it tomorrow. But again, one of the points I made in the afternoon comments was prices do not move based on fundamentals. I haven't seen anything out there in the market that told us there was anything that changed everybody's opinion, other than the chart said everybody decided this is when they'll start selling. Was there a sell signal on PIX? Well, nothing more than the fact that we had a failure, a double top failure, and a close below the T line. Tells us we're probably not in a major reversal. but with it closing below the T line on Thursday, it needed to open positive and trade positive. For even though that we didn't see a sell signal, we were still seeing weakness up here where there's been weakness before. So this combination right here, with 2 days closing back below the T line and eliminating this whole signal, that would tell me the bears are in control. On the evening star signal is 3 days. It's an up day, it's an indecision day, and then a big down day. Whereas the left-right combo, I can't remember where we saw it left, is a doji followed by a bearish engulfing signal. Not in really considering what the first day, the day prior to the doji. All right. Okay. Any other general questions on candlesticks? Left-right combo is I'm trying to think of where we would have seen a left-right combo. That's kind of a left-right combo. There's a doji followed by a bearish engulfing signal. Okay. Very often your instructions are to whatever. If the stock opens or trades up or down in the morning, that presents an issue for some who can't day trade. In order to have mobility in a position the next day, I need to take my position before the close of the night before. My best thought is to work off a 1 hour chart perhaps and use the obvious. But do you have other suggestions? Well, if I'm buying, if I had to head for work each morning or couldn't be there for the open, if I was buying, I'd say, all right, here's my pattern setting up. I need to see it trade positive. Now, where would be a convincing place to trade positive? Well, I could have it if it closed. I don't know where it closed here. Closed on this day at 1044. If it came up through 1050, I want to put a buy stop to buy it. At least that way you're participating when it moves in the direction that you think it's doing. You can do that the night before. Whoops, hold on. I just hit the wrong button. So, let's see. Okay, that was, Victor, I couldn't understand what that meant. Bio had a left-right combo, okay. Yeah, there's a left-right combo. Notice the doji followed by a bearish engulfing signal that tells you they're still heading down. There's a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. If you look at the quantitative video, probably your first strongest signal is the doji followed by a gap up in the oversold area. The next one, for some reason, is your doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal in the oversold, or a doji bearish engulfing signal, your left-right combo. There's a lot of talking heads saying the market was going down early last week. They were competing to forecast 10, 20, 30% down. Harv, yeah, that's usually an indication, though, of kind of good for the market. The more people you say the market's going down, I've discovered the market will keep going. The more people you have saying the market's going up, then you start looking for the reversal. Now, when it comes to talking heads, I have one very simple strategy when they're on TV. I have everything on mute all day long. Because nobody's opinion. One thing I always come back to is if there was somebody that was excellent at picking stocks, the market trends, everybody on Wall Street would know their name. So I always ask the question, you know who the best analyst is on Wall Street right now? I know probably 99.9% of you are sitting out there saying I have no idea, and that's because if there was somebody out there that was a good analyst on Wall Street, we would all know their names. So to listen to some analysts, to especially Kramer, to follow what they say, that all you're doing is following one person's opinion. The candlestick charts are everybody's opinion, and that's what I'd rather go with. So the piercing line require confirmation. If so, what constitutes confirmation? Piercing signal, yes, is something that opens below any of the previous day's trading and closes halfway up the previous day's candle or the body. It needs to see positive trading the next day or within the next day or two. Let's see, I'm still not sure when to short versus buy puts. That's up to you. Parker, if the stock's going down, it's up to each person's trading nature or trading what they trade. If you're an options trader, you probably want to buy the puts. If you just buy and sell stocks, you just short the stock. So there's no difference. It's all a function of what type of trading entities you like to trade. On a day like today on the SPY, do you follow 5-minute chart? I do if I'm looking to see if they are going to be turning it around. So if I was watching this and it's down big after a big down day on Friday, yeah, then I'll go to the shorter term charts. Now I don't use the 5-minute chart as my bellwether. I use the 10-minute chart. So if I see them selling it off, I'm ready to buy. If I see a buy signal and a close above the T line, in a case like this, there was a false start. But that wouldn't have been to buy anything. That would have been to say, all right, I want to start seeing which stocks is starting to turn back up with the market turning back up, and then boop, a few minutes later, they're taking it back down. So I use the 10-minute as my bellwether. To see if they're turning around. A lot of times in an up market, you have the down trading in the morning, and usually what happens is in the morning they trade it off, and then they hit a support level. You watch your 10-minute chart to see if they're bringing it back up, and usually they bring it back up through the open, and then continue higher. The profit taking in the morning is over. Let's see. But if I buy in the morning, I can't sell it that day if I need to. Miss Peggy, what you need to do at that point is, if you've got some sort of alert on your computer, if my trade's executed, I'd at least spend a little bit of time, or maybe just 5 minutes on a break during the day, to check my positions. And if my position is executed where it was trading higher, then I come back and say, all right, I need to put a stop in at this level. It shouldn't come back down here during the day or by the end of the day. Left-right combo can be a doji followed by a golfing up candle to yes. Yeah, it can be a bullish left-right or a bearish left-right. What's the maximum body range or ratio for a doji? That's all visual. Let me see if I can find something. All I want to do is see that there was indecision, that it was a indecisive body that day. So it doesn't matter whether you consider this a doji, a spinning top. It's showing you there's indecisiveness there compared to a full body day. So there's no real ratio. It's just visually, was there indecision, or were they trading away from where they opened it? How do you recognize a blue ice? So it's when something comes down. Anybody remember which one of the blue ice was? Was it CHRM? Yeah, there's kind of your blue ice. The blue ice is when somebody falls through the ice. In this case, it happened to be the 50. They scramble back up to see whether they can find the hole they fell through. They can't find it. They drown, which means they're going to the bottom of the pond, the next support level. So it's coming down to what would be perceived as a major support level, comes back up, tests that support level to see if it's going to act as a resistance. If it acts as a resistance, it's going back down again. Let's see. Okay, that's right. All right, let's see what else we got here. What is a good chart service to use? Don, you got Metastock, you've got TCNet, and then Thinkorswim has a chart service, but that is up to each person. So that's a question out here that everybody should answer, what chart services they have and whether they think it's economically worthwhile. Yeah, don't day trade. But I think Miss Peggy was asking if I buy it and I have to get back out the same day, I can't do that. Fortunately, Ms. Peggy, if you buy a candlestick buy signal and everything looks like it's moving in the right direction, the probabilities are pretty strong it's going to move in the right direction. That's exactly the reason why we're looking at candlestick signals 400 years later. So for every time that you get into a situation where you buy something and have to sell it out the next day, if you can't do it that same day, you're going to have 4, 5, 6 times as many move in the right direction and make money for you. When markets get like this, other than being short, what sectors are good? Metals, treasuries. Oh, that I don't know because it changes. I saw somebody say today that they were coming back to all the big blue chips, Coca-Cola, things like that. It, so it all depends on each person. Okay, let's see. All right, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And everybody try to keep your request to 2. That way we'll give everybody a chance. All right, Jim, do the other double line. All right, wriggle. Wriggle. You can't do anything with this one. Can't short it. I would watch it. You're in the oversold area. You're bouncing up off the 200, but I wouldn't buy it until I saw a buy signal and it closed back up above the T line. DB. DB, unfortunately, all you can do here is stay short until you see a buy signal. GMCR backed off today. Well, for crying out loud. So this one is another one that you get ready to short on a weaker open for the Doji sandwich. JP Morgan, stay short, probably aiming for the 50. QCOM, get ready to short this one on a lower open, also the Doji sandwich. APH, S.A. PH. You can short this one. Now, again, when you're shorting some of these or just breaking the channel, you got to watch what the market's doing because most of these will follow the market. But if this opens lower, there's a good possibility it's going to come back down to the 50. So if that one, because of the lack of magnitude of move, you probably want to be looking at it just for a day trade or day or two trade. Plug closed a little bit lower than it should. This one should have been closed out today. If you still held on to it, it has to open positive and trade positive tomorrow to stay in it. HIMX, you can short this one. We recommended going short on this one. What's happening here? Well. Oh, Pashal. Oh, there it went. Yes, this one we recommended going short today with the anticipation they were going to take it back down to the 200 at least. If they don't hold the 200, you got a wave one, wave three, taking it down into about the 750 area. CXO, another one you can short on weakness tomorrow would be breaking this trend channel after a left-right combo, little gap down through the support level. LNG. LNG held up well. This is good consolidation. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow because it's gotten the profit taken out of the way. Tesla sold off a little bit, but it did an inverted hammer doji. It has to open positive to stay in any long positions. If it opens lower tomorrow, you close out longs and probably go short at that point. NEM, Estat, NEM. You can stay with this one. It's not going to be very enthusiastic, but it's probably got the potential of coming back up to test the 200. PetSmart. Yes. With it failing the T-line today, more than likely they're going to bring it back down to the 50-day moving, the 50-day moving average. That's a left-right combo. That's why when I say see what it does once it hits the resistance level, but this one it gave us a strong sell signal. They aren't going to go up to the 200. And GTAT, another one that you can short on weakness tomorrow. Doji sandwich would probably take you down to the 50. And ISR had been holding up well. This one you stay long as it stays above the T line. Right now it's even trading above the 3 T line, so you just stay with it. Facebook. This wasn't anything today. This was what they call an in neck or an at neck. All it was a little bounce. If it opens lower tomorrow, you can be shorting it immediately. The Russell. This one's telling us that they're like the Dow. They're right, or the Nasdaq. They're right here on this support level. But if they break that, they're going to go down here to the 200. The Qs, same thing. Open lower tomorrow. Doji sandwich could take you all the way down to the 200 very quickly. That would be the panic selling. Whoops. SMH, same scenario. It has to open positive and trade positive for that sector to stay strong. If it opens weaker tomorrow, yes, you want to short it because they'll take that right down to the 50. Pepsi, all you can do here is stay long. Just be aware of the lack of magnitude of the return. And Bidu. Bidu, stay short. Bearish J-hook pattern in progress. TMO. This one's got the semblance of a blue ice failure. This could come all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. If they open this lower, failing this level, they're hunting for a next support level. And Walgreens. There's a bearish engulfing signal right here at the resistance level. If this trades lower, you can be shorting it, but be aware also of the lack of magnitude of move on this one. AKS. There's your evening star signal with kind of a booster today to the downside. This one, if it opens lower, the first target is unfortunately back to the 50, then watch to see what it does at that level. The VIX, look for a scoop pattern. That means if it opens positive tomorrow, they're taking it up some more. We did SSRI. This one, if you're long, you stay long as it stays above the T line. TES should have been closed out today with an opening lower. It had to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Notice what they did. This is what they call two dark crows. You had a bearish day. Today they gapped it, or yesterday or Friday, they gapped it back up at the same level they opened it before and then closed even lower. That basically tells you every time the bulls try to step in it, the bears knock it right back down. That's a bearish signal. MTOR was another one that should have been closed early today based on that it needed to open positive and trade positive. Again, there was your left-right combo up here showing that there was probably a lot of downside. DDD with a gap down doji. Again, this is going to be very simple. They're going to move it in the direction of how they open this one tomorrow. Best Buy, I'm sorry. All you can do with this one is stay long as it doesn't close back below the T line. SDS, stay long on this one. This is the ultra short. I think that's the 2x short. Stay long as this market doesn't show any signs of strength. CSUN. Having a hard time getting back up above the 50. I wouldn't be in this one right now. There's better charts out there. BIS. What is that? That is a trust for ultra short NASDAQ biotech. All right. This one, all you can do is stay long until you see a sell signal. SPRT, stay short. Right? You can't stay short if you couldn't be short this one. This one you don't want to be in until you see a buy signal. And this Clorox, Colgate. Colgate, you can stay long as it doesn't close below the T line, but you can also should be aware of the lack of magnitude of move in this uptrend. VTSS, another one, can't short it at this level, so you don't want to do anything with this. I'd watch to see what it does once it got to the 50-day moving average. GDX, This one's going to move in the direction of how they open it tomorrow. And Pilgrim's Pride should have been out of this one today if you weren't out of it on Friday. This is why I say it needs to open and trade positive. This one opened and immediately traded negative. WRLD. This one you can stay long as long as it stays above the T line. Priceline. Stay short, especially if they open this lower. They're going to take it right down to the 200. Win. Stay short until you see a buy signal. And Under Armour, another one where you just stay short. Likely, right now the prospects look like it could go back to the 200. BWZ, stay long. Nothing wrong with this one. Ford has failed at the 200, which meant if it opened lower today, you should have closed it out. If you're trading it, as far as the long-term hold, you probably want to hang on to it now as long as it doesn't close back below the 50. CLF. This one closed below the T line and held at the 50, but it's not very exciting at this point. It would have to open positive and trade positive significantly tomorrow to stay in it. U.S. Steel. This one should have been closed out today, just the fact because it closed back below the T line. Okay. All right, got a few more. CMG, stay short on the bearish J hook. Look for the 200 as a support. Amazon, this one you want to stay short until you see a buy signal. S.O. Now this one you can be buying. That's a good looking chart, especially if they take it positive up through the 50 tomorrow. And CYS, that was the other one. Or did I find that one? Yeah, I did find that one. CYS, you can be buying. I don't know what the dividend yield is, but I take it for granted it's got a good dividend yield. VIPS, stay short on this one. Especially if they open this lower, telling you the 50 is not going to act as support. I'd use that. Yeah, I was going to say, I would use probably today's open as a stop. NTE, this one you stay long, but you need to see it open positive and trade positive. If it does, you've got a big island reversal, which means you're going to be in an uptrend. Yeah, we're going to be doing day trade patterns tomorrow. Let's see, dividend on CYS, that's 15.31%. DSBR, this one you stay long, but you're right here at the 200, which means if they open it lower, you take your profits. Then if they bring it back up through, then you can always buy it back. All right, let's see what else we got. iTub. Just stay long until you see a sell signal. ATW, another one where you short, especially on a weaker open tomorrow. EOX, this one has to open positive to stay in it. If it opens weaker tomorrow, you can basically go short because that tells you the T-line's been not acting as support, and you've got a bearish doji sandwich in the making. MCGC. This one you can't do anything. If you were long, you should have closed it out today. And MLM. Another one that should have been closed out today. With them closing it below yesterday or Friday's open and below the T-line, that tells you the bears are taking control. And Sears Holding, you probably want to go short on this gap down, Doge, or bearish kicker signal. This one can be shorted. MTH. MTH, this one, if you own it, the only way to stay in it is if it opens or stays above the T-line tomorrow. If it closes below or trades below the T-line, I'd probably close it out. And that would be even during the day, which means if the market was selling off again tomorrow, they're going to continue to sell this one off. GameStop. This is your typical. Came up to the 200, sold off. You hang on to this as long as it doesn't close below the T-line. And VTNR, another one that you can stay long with as long as it doesn't close below the T-line. That's a good-looking chart. You had a kicker signal that started the J-hook. And then you had your bullish harami that told you this profit taking was over. Stay long until you see a sell signal and it close below the T-line. If stochastics below 20, how do you identify if it's in oversold condition? That's what the stochastics below 20 indicate, Kevin, is that you are in an oversold condition. If they're above 80, then you're in an overbought condition. Oops, I don't know what that one was. GCVRZ. That one's not coming up. Apple. Apple, at this point, as it failed this wedge, I would suspect they're going to bring back Apple back down to the 200. SRPT. Oh boy, this one you can be buying as long as it stays above the T-line, but it has to stay above the T-line. You might be on a double bottom here with a bullish engulfing signal today, but you definitely need to get through this downtrending channel, which means they need to get through the 50. Oh, Predict, that means if they open this market tomorrow and you can see the pre-market futures are trading positive before the open and they start opening up everything positive and you can see that it's not opening and immediately selling off, and that may be 3 minutes, it may be 7 minutes, it may be 15 minutes. Let's see, I don't think we need a password tomorrow. I think since it's for members only. Yes, Jay, the math is the same. Except when you get close enough to expiration date on a credit spread, your math is more how much money am I going to make and is it worthwhile to make this amount of money for the next 4 or 5 days. Usually a credit spread, especially with about a week to go, isn't going to be real hefty, but it's going to be consistent as far as money. Yeah, I think Sears spun off the Land's End. Okay. All right, a couple more. When you're using options for various trades, do you have a preference? Are you selling calls versus buying puts? Jay, again, that's still the math. And usually, if I'm selling the calls, it's because we're getting fairly close. Obviously, the closer we are to expiration, the better the probability that there aren't going to be a big reversal on you. So I'm usually selling calls getting fairly close to expiration, like within 5-6 trading days. Uh, we'll have more option trading sessions here. We're trying to clear up the schedule, getting some of our speakers out of the way. Not that they're bad speakers, some of them bad speakers. Netflix, this one's going to tell you how they're going to move it based upon how they open it tomorrow. Can you trust a signal that forms as a result of a spin-off? No, you have to look at to see why that occurred. Yeah, so now if they had announced that their earnings were bad and they did that, that would be a different story. Okay, that's one of our shorter sessions. Let's call it a night. Be ready to add short positions if this market opens weaker tomorrow. Unfortunately, the market's still in a situation where you want to be both long and short. Sometimes you say this one should have been sold today, MLM, as an example. You indicate it should have been sold today. At what point would you have sold it? MLM. Probably if it had come back down through this level. Because you can see the stochastics were rolling over. You had already had some buy signals. If they had enough strength to bring it down through yesterday's open, or Friday's open, that tells you the bears are still in control. That's where I would have had my stop. Lots of times it will be an obvious point where the price should not be moving if it's a bullish move. Okay. All right, everybody. Get a good night's sleep. We'll see everybody in the morning. See you then.